I'm going to show you exactly how I got this person to a 753 credit score within less than 30 days. Millions of teenagers across the United States are going to be graduating high school. So I've been getting this huge question from a lot of my younger crowd out there, and they keep asking me, I've just turned 18, I'm gonna graduate high school, like what do I do next? Like, do I open up credit cards? Do I go get a loan? Do I try to get a car loan? No, stop. Don't panic. I'm gonna walk you through every single step of what you should do if you have no credit or you just turned 18. And of course, for all the people out there that are working on their credit, what do you need to do while you're working on your credit, or after you're done fixing your credit, what's your next move? So I'm gonna break this up into 3 very important parts that you do not want to miss. Part 1 is going to be what to do if I just turned 18. Now part 2 is gonna be what to do if I have no credit. And then part 3, what to do if I'm repairing my credit or I am done repairing my credit, what's my next move? Let's get into this video because we have a lot of ground to cover. So let's get into number 1 first, what to do if I just turned 18. Now there's this big growing myth out there that you need to add your kids to your credit cards as soon as they're born, or when they turn 13, or they're like 10 years old, or when they turn 17, because that's gonna help them build credit the entire time. That's actually not true and not necessary. You don't have to add your kids to your credit cards until they turn 18, or what I did with my son is I added him onto 2 credit cards when he turned 16. It was time for him to learn how to use credit cards properly and understand what a credit score truly means. Also, as parents, or if you're an 18-year-old and you immediately say, okay, well, let me go get somebody to add me on as an authorized user, don't do it just yet. You want to wait until you go get a specific credit card that's gonna get you no hard inquiry, and they're gonna get you into the Chase Bank family. This specific credit card is called the Chase Freedom Rise card. Now this card, what you have to do, you go into a physical branch, or you could do it online. I prefer to do it at a physical branch because you can make sure that the process goes smoothly and we don't want the hard inquiry. Again, go into a physical branch with your child or go with yourself as an 18-year-old, and you're going to open up the free checking version. Now you can do the college version and you can actually get free checking until I think the age of 24, or once you graduate college. 100% free checking, and put $500 into that checking account to get you started. Now, if you want to add more, let's say you have 1,000 or 15 or 2,000, you've got a bunch of savings saved up that you want to put into that Chase relationship, you can do that. But 500 is the entry level to get this done. Once you open up the checking account, they're gonna have you deposit that money inside of the actual branch location. And then once you do that, you're gonna tell them, I want to open up the Chase Freedom Rise card also and apply for it once the money is deposited. They're gonna have you fill out all types of documents for the checking account and also for the credit inquiry that they're gonna do on your credit profile. But guess what? You don't have any credit, so it doesn't matter. And again, I've done this twice. With my nephew, I did it 1 year ago, and I did it literally this past month with my son once he turned 18. And neither one of them got a hard inquiry when we went into the physical branch and did it in person. Once you sign all the documents, you make your deposit, they're gonna actually make you fill out the information for the credit card application. Also, they're gonna give you all your documents, you walk out, they're gonna actually have you set up your Chase mobile account right then and there. Make sure you do it there so you get it all out of the way. Once you get it set up, then in about a week, maybe 2 weeks at tops, about 10 business days, your credit card will just populate inside of your Chase Bank app. Now we're gonna put it up on the screen right here so you can take a look at exactly what it looks like. This is what we did for my son. We opened up his checking account. You can see the $500 and then the Freedom Rise populated in there. I think it was about a week and a half, something like that, when it actually popped up in there. He came to me telling me he was all happy and excited. But here's the big interesting data point that we got. So we did this with my actual nephew a full year ago. Now we did this exact same thing with my nephew, and this is why it makes it interesting, because we did the $500 into the checking account, he got the Freedom Rise, but they gave him a $1,000 credit limit, and they gave my son a $500 credit limit, which made no sense to me. I don't really have the data point points to prove as to why it actually happened. It could be that Chase Bank is lowering the credit limits on those specific cards moving forward. But the reason why this is very important to know, and you want to get into the Chase Bank family first, because one, you're not going to get a hard inquiry, and two, they are going to graduate this specific credit card, the Freedom Rise card, to one of the other Freedom credit cards, maybe a Freedom Unlimited. And that is also going to have a no annual fee. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna switch the products out. So you don't have to reapply or do anything. They're gonna reevaluate your account within usually 8 to 12 months of you being with Chase Bank and having that credit card to see if you qualify. Just make sure you never carry any balances and you always pay your credit card off in full, and you will graduate to the next level of credit cards. Now, the reason why I don't want you adding on any authorized users, because you want to do this first, because this is designed for people that have no credit whatsoever. If you try to add this onto your credit profile and you have credit, you can possibly get declined. We have not seen the data point to actually point us to this, but this card was specifically designed for people with no credit. So if you go apply for it, it might get you denied. If there's anybody out there that has a data point to tell us otherwise, please drop it in the comment section, because we want to have that data point for our community. Now, once you have this credit card and it's been open on your credit report, you want to go with a large credit union and you want to start and establish a banking relationship with them. Now, you're probably gonna say, but we just opened up a Chase account. Yes, it's fine. We're only doing this because this will get us into the Chase family with no hard inquiry. Once we turn 18, or if we have no credit whatsoever as an adult, this will work for you also. But our next move is to build with a big credit union. Now, I'm going to drop a list of my favorite credit unions in the comment section and pin it there also. Now, my number one go-to, of course, is going to be Navy Federal, because I am a Navy Federal member. I can get my son in. All I'm gonna need is my access code, my date of birth, and I think the last 4 of my social to have him actually open up a Navy Federal account. Once he gets approved for his Navy Federal account, we're going to have him open up a checking and a savings. He's gonna put a minimum of $250 into his free checking account, do only the free version, and then put as much money as he can into his savings. $500 to possibly $1,000 is okay. If you don't have $500 to $1,000, put as much as you possibly can into your savings, because this makes you a valuable asset to the credit union. Then my son is going to set up his direct deposit to start going into his Navy Federal account, because we want actually Navy Federal to see every single time he gets paid and how much he's getting paid directly going to Navy Federal. This is going to build a strong data point for him to start establishing a new relationship with Navy Federal. Next, I'm going to have him open up a secured loan, a pledge loan with Navy Federal. Now, he's gonna do at least $500 to $1,000, whatever the minimum is, because I think they bumped it up with Navy Federal. And if it's the $1,000, you have to do it for a full 24 months. Now, he's gonna do it for a full 24 months. He's going to give them $1,000. They're gonna put it and lock it up into a savings account, and he can't pull out. Now, do not let them put it on auto payment. We're going to wait for the secured loan to hit his credit report. Once the secured loan posts to his credit report, then he's gonna call Navy Federal. He's gonna pick up the phone and call them and tell them, hey, I wanna pay off 80% of my loan. He's gonna pay it off over the phone, and then I want to put the remaining 20% on auto payment for the next 2 years until the loan is paid off completely. And now he's gonna be building credit with his own installment loan that is coming from a direct bank. Now, when lenders look at this, this looks like a loan that was given to him on his credit report. So now he has my 2 credit cards that I put him on as an authorized user with Capital One. He has his Chase Freedom Rise, that's 3 credit products. Now he has his installment loan that is also helping him build credit. So now he is building the perfect starter credit profile. And once he has done all of this right here, he has completed doing all of this successfully for 6 to 8 months, then he's going to apply for any credit card with Navy Federal, and he's going to get anywhere from $10,000 to a $20,000 credit limit by following these exact instructions, because I've done this with other clients that had bad credit, but they were doing exactly what I taught them with this recipe, and they were able to achieve over a $20,000 credit limit. Some of them got $15,000 credit limits because they didn't do a lot like I taught them to. They only did the bare minimum. But if you can do as much as you possibly can, exactly what I'm telling you, of all of these processes, then you're gonna be successful with Navy Federal or any other larger credit union also. Last part's the most important. By doing all of this, you're going to build a perfect credit mix on your credit profile, because now you have 2 authorized user accounts from Capital One. That's one big bank lender on your credit profile. Then you have Chase on your credit profile for the Chase Freedom Rise, and then hopefully it will graduate to another Chase Freedom Unlimited maybe. Then you have your secured loan that is reporting as an installment loan, because that's very important. And then your 5th and final card should be the card that you get with Navy Federal or the credit union as your 5th and final piece to your credit profile. We want that credit union credit card because now you're going to have a high limit credit card on your credit profile. And when you move forward anywhere else, they're going to also offer you a high limit credit card. This is exactly why you keep all those crappy credit cards off your credit profile. Keep secured credit cards off your credit profile, because a secured credit card will report as a secured credit card. A secured loan does not read as that. It reads as an installment loan. Anyone out there that's saying, oh, a pledge loan is a bad thing on your credit report, a secured loan is a bad thing on your credit. No, it's not. If it's coming from a credit union, it is absolutely great, and it's helping you build positive payment history, and it's reporting that it's coming from a big national bank or credit union. And you want to stay in this exact same position for the next year to 2 years maximum. Let your credit grow before you go anywhere else. You don't need any more credit. This is going to be the backbone of your credit profile. Now let me show you exactly what his industry credit scores look like. So if he wants to buy a car, his FICO Auto Score 8 is a 752. If he wants to get a credit card, his FICO Bank Card Score 8 is a 753. And if he wants to buy a home, his FICO Mortgage Score 2 is an 801. Isn't that crazy? Now this is a great example of when you add a trade line to someone's credit profile that has no negative items. Now let me say this again for the people in the back that did not hear me. You don't need crappy credit cards on your credit profile like First Premier, Credit One, or Open Sky. You don't need them. Now what I just taught you, you can do if you're just turning 18 or you're an adult that has absolutely no credit. That's the best part about what I'm doing. And this can work for all of these credit unions that I'm going to give you of my top 10 favorite credit unions. That's going to be pinned in the comments and in the video description. So what I just taught you covered part 1 and part 2 of this video that you did not want to miss. Now part 3, what to do if I'm repairing my credit or I'm done repairing my credit. What is my next move? Now, if you are in the process of repairing your credit, you do not want to pay for trade lines. And I made this very clear in one of my last videos that I made, and people got confused. Specifically, this one guy who commented, and his name was F-Bomb Baggers. Apparently, he builds motorcycles, but let's put up his comment up on the screen. It says, can't trust YouTubes. I think he said YouTubers, but I think he can't spell or something. I bought 3 trade lines and went from a 660 to a 750. It will only last 60 days, but I'm good with that. Well, what he's not telling everybody here is it's going to all disappear within the full 60 days. Yes, he is slightly telling us, but he's not telling you the full story here, because he's not telling us if he's going through credit repair or if he just has no credit and it bumped him up to a 750. As you saw with my son's credit score, all we had to do was add him to 2 credit cards. We could have probably just done 1 and got the same result, but I did 2 because he's been on those credit cards for forever and they're helping him build credit. But when you do credit repair and you add trade lines, it doesn't have the same effect. So as an example, my son, he got a 753 with 2 trade lines added to his credit profile. But if you add trade lines to your credit profile and you are, in fact, you're suffering from collections, charge-offs, all kinds of negative items, late payments on your credit report, those items act like an actual ball and chain and they hold your score down. So your score can't rise to the tippity top if you were to add those trade lines. And this is why I say it is a waste of money and it's not necessary. It's not going to boost your credit score in the same shape and fashion it would for someone that has good credit. So save your money, don't waste your money, because it is only a temporary fix. And even if you add those trade lines to your credit profile and you go apply for credit, guess what? You're in a situation where you have bad credit for a reason. You have charge-offs, collections, late payments, whatever it may be, and those things are still visible to lenders. So the artificial inflation of your credit score is a huge waste of money. You should have just focused on fixing your credit first, and then later on, if you want to, add the trade lines so your money goes a long way. And a special shout out to F-Bomb Baggers out there. He's saying don't trust YouTubers, but he's a YouTuber and builds bikes. That's crazy. So you're telling people not to trust you? So you shouldn't go around talking trash to other creators on YouTube, because we're all here to help everyone. This is a huge community and some people just don't listen to what I'm saying. And that's why it's really important that I come here and I clear it up for you so you truly understand how your score is going to react if you add a trade line to your credit profile, because there's so many companies out there that are going to try to get you and entice you, say, hey, add this trade line, it'll boost your credit score. But they're not telling you they can still see the negative items. You're still going to get declined because you have charge-offs, collections, and late payments, or whatever else negative item you have on your credit report. Your credit score is a small factor of what makes a credit decision. It's your entire credit profile. This is why I call it an artificial inflation, because if your credit profile doesn't look presentable to a lender, you're gonna get declined. People that have an 800 or a 780 get declined for any type of credit product because their credit profile is trash. You can have a high credit score and your credit profile is trash and still get declined. Now remember what we did with my son. We only added 2 authorized user accounts and then 1 credit card, 1 installment loan, and then a 5th and final credit card. So he literally has 4 credit cards that are reported on his credit profile and 1 installment loan. If you're rebuilding your credit, you want to have at least 2 to 3 credit cards that are reported on your credit profile. Don't go any farther than 3, because remember, we don't want crappy credit cards on your credit profile. And then you can add some credit builders if you need them. If you don't have installment loans with positive payment history, then you can add something like Stellarify, or my ultimate favorite, Report Your Rent. You can use Boom Report to build up your credit profile, because Boom Report is very unique in the sense that there's a lot of different options of how you can report your rent, but they can report 2 years of previous rental history. So if you're living at the same place for a long time and you have 2 years of previous rental history, they'll add those 24 months of positive payment history to your credit profile, plus the up and coming 12 months that are gonna report for the next year. That's 36 months of positive payment history injected into your credit profile within 1 year. And this is a long-term investment. Instead of a short-term investment that only lasts you 60, maybe 90 days, this is a long-term investment, because I think it's like maybe 15 bucks per year to report all of this to the credit reporting agencies. But if you report the past ones, I think it's right under $30 per year. That is a huge bang for your buck to report your rental payments, because remember, positive payment history builds up credit scores. And the more positive payment history you have, the more your credit score will rise. The most important piece to the puzzle when you are repairing your credit, and you're probably saying, okay, well, what do I do? Do I go get more credit cards? I just gave you the 2 best credit builders, but the number one thing is to bank with a credit union. Build and establish a relationship with a credit union, because even if you have bad credit, you start to build your relationship with the credit union, and that can get you to the high limit credit cards, to the lower interest rate auto loans. You can possibly get a home with them, even with bad credit, because credit unions back their members, because you are an asset to the credit union. Regular traditional banks won't even give you a pack of gum in your name if you have bad credit, but a credit union will help you rebuild, and that's why they are much more important and more impactful. I'm gonna put it up on the screen right here so you can see. I always bring proof, of course, right? This is from one of my clients. He followed my exact recipe to a T. His credit score was at a 640. He was starting to see improvements, but he followed the exact recipe. He was given a $25,000 credit card with Navy Federal with a 13.99% interest rate. That interest rate is lower than any of the other credit cards that you hear from any of the national banks. Credit unions will also give you a better interest rate, so you're not paying 29.99, or some credit cards are over 30% interest rate. With a credit union, you don't have to worry about that. And this is his first credit card with a credit union at a $25,000 credit limit. That's insane. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I just broke it down to you how to build credit if you're 18 and you have no credit, or you are working on your credit and you're repairing it. You have the entire recipe. Now it's time for you to take action. Now make sure you watch this next video, because it is about Navy Federal. You don't want to miss it. Now, if you felt that it brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.